Hello, this is Taha.
This is Anaina,
This is Movie Masala.
and we're here to yap at you about films we watched recently.
And today we're doing
Majama.
मैं नाटक नहीं कर रही हाँ बचपन से तुमने यही सीखा है थेपले रोटली बनाओ और मुंह बंद रखो यू नो समटाइम्स आई एम सो ग्लैड मैं तुम्हारी तरह कायर नहीं बनी मैं कायर नहीं हूँ कायर नहीं तो क्या हो फिर तुम लेस्बियन हूँ मैं मर्द नहीं औरतें पसंद है मुझे बोल अपनाएगी मुझे अब
Okay, do you want to go over what this is about?
Okay, so basically, it's about this wonderful, wonderful lady, Pallavi, who is played by Madhuri Dixit.
The great Madhuri Dixit.
The gorgeous, gorgeous Madhuri Dixit, who has, the perfect family, the perfect, social life, blah, 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 in this one very random, ambiguous Gujarati town, whose son wants to get married to this Indian-born American woman whose family is very, very wealthy, but also very, very suspicious and very, very conservative in the sense that, they're Trump supporters.
You meant American-born Indian women, but also the way it's phrased, it works the other way.
Yeah. Anyway, and so basically the plot starts up when Pallavi's son brings his to-be in-laws to his town to meet his parents. And it is accidentally, or perhaps on purpose, revealed that Pallavi is a lesbian. And the rest of the movie is spent determining whether she actually is a lesbian or not, which she is. And, has been in love with her daughter's mother-in-law for ages because they were childhood best friends. No spoilers. But yeah, it's basically a story of grappling with the fact of, is she a lesbian or not?
I remember when I started this film and I messaged you this. I was like, if someone says LGBTQIA plus one more time, I am going to lose it. In the first 30 minutes, I would say, it's hard to think there's any single queer person who was involved in the making of this film, in writing or directing it. And it shows because the dialogue feels so forced allyship. It just feels like someone who's trying. They're not being like ignorant, but they don't have a lived in approach to the community. Right? I think, and the strongest part of that is Tara, who is Pallavi's daughter, who is this academic activist who is doing gender studies. It's like she's written as the most blue hair liberal gender studies.
But she's not queer, she's straight.
But she's straight. Which I'm like, again, it's not like that doesn't happen. It just feels a bit weird, right? But I do think that her dynamic, there's like a duality, right? She is very much kind of dragging her mother out of the closets in some way, while the rest of society, and especially her son, are like making sure that
Are shoving her back in.
shoving her back, or even just making sure there is no closet. What closet are you talking about? And as much as the gripes again of like Tara's character I had at moments, I liked how the issue was that this ally character was determining her mother's coming out, because that is not what you should do.
And I was so surprised when they addressed that in the film. I was like, I thought they were just going to gloss over it. And then they talk about it, like actual people from who are meant to be like the queer community in the movie call her out on that. And I was like, whoa, okay. So maybe I can get into this now.
Exactly. And I think that, and as well as Madhuri Dixit just plays the character, I think it's incredible, because there is a very real thing to like, oh, I've lived my life like this for so many years, for decades on decades at this point. Am I truly gaining more here by coming out? That is it genuinely going to make my life better? Which is a real thing that people in the South Asian like community face. It's like, yes, I can be myself, but oftentimes I'm not going to have best of both worlds. So what do I genuinely want more? It's sad. It's upsetting 100%. But it's also a very real conversation to be had. And I never felt that it was not fully accepting that that conversation was real and had nuances.
No, for sure. I mean, and I think in that way, it was really important to show an older woman because, first of all, it brings like to the fact that, as the characters say, this stuff never happened in our generation. Actually, like, no, it happened. They've been there. And second of all, of like more nuances of when an older person does come out, how does the queer community treat it? And second of all, especially in like a South Asian context, like a conservative South Asian context, is it benefiting the queer person or not? Like, if it's going to just be a hindrance to them, then there's not that there's no point doing it, but there has to be like thought behind it. And I did feel like, even if this film wasn't spelling out the thought behind it, there was consideration of that.
100%. And secondly, it's not lived in, it's very well researched, which is also the characters of the Hansraj family, who is Tejas, who is Pallavi's son, their in-laws, basically, Hansrajas. I genuinely felt like, South Asian people explaining family relationships to you. But their family, there's such a truth to like South Asian diaspora who go abroad to places like America and become more conservative. They go to a country that is more liberal and become more
Oh my
conservative.
god, I loved it so much because it was especially like Tejas who tries to, and trigger warning, spoiler alert, etc., tries to push his mom into like religious conversion therapy, and he's the American educated one, and it's just like, yeah, think about it. The West doesn't make everyone better. No. It makes some people worse, in the sense that it makes them more conservative. And her daughter, who's Tara, who stayed behind in like India, was the more open one. And this is not to say, East is good and West is bad, or, even like a West-East like split. But just to say that, America ain't shit. It ain't all that shit.
Yeah, exactly. It is showing that Bob Hansraj, I hate how his name is Bob.
I mean, I have an uncle who used to go by Bob in the UK. So his name was not Bob. His name was not even close to Bob, but I understand.
Yikes. But yeah, he sold all of his real cultural identity and roots for political power from specifically a party that does not care about him at all, right? Who is happy to shun him. And that is like, again, such a real thing. It's just so true. And that whole depiction, coupled with specific dialogues, which just, if you were a queer person in the South, just hit. They just hurt in such specific ways that you will never be able to really articulate. And that really, again, like you said, pulls it through at the end. This movie has such a rocky start, but again, it just pulls through at the end.
For sure. And I think like the hidden gem in this film, I mean, Madhuri Dixit is absolutely gorgeous.
Phenomenal.
Such good acting, like the quiet restraint and then the absolutely losing it when she, finally reaches her like saturation point. And then Simone Singh, who plays her childhood friend and lover, Kanchan, gorgeous. But I think the hidden star in this is Gajraj Rao, who plays Pallavi's husband, Manohar.
100%.
Gajraj Rao, just such a fabulous actor. He's hilarious and he's done some really good films. But he pulls through at the end. And it's such a good portrayal of masculinity as well.
Yes.
Because it's like, he's such a green flag. You'd expect him to be a red flag, right? But he's such a green flag. When he realizes him and his wife haven't been as intimate, he tries to rectify that. He tries to correct it. And he has a little slip up when he finds out, his wife is a lesbian. That's allowed. But when his wife calls him out on like the years and years of not looking after her or not knowing what's good for her or not asking her what's good for her, he comes through. He tells her that I was trying so hard to be a husband, I forgot to be your friend. It's just like, oh, men don't often realize that, especially not brown men.
No, exactly. It is really surprising. You have Tejas as well, right? Who you feel is this green flag dude who will be like, your pseudo protagonist. But also, it shows how Tejas is not a good person, man. Like the internal biases and the homophobia straight up that he has really drives him against his own mom, right? Someone who you see in the start how much he admires, which is also such a true thing. Normally, you see that relationship flipped in another sense, right? But it's interesting to see it in the opposite sense. And yeah, again, just the idea of like, with Gajraj, of like, oh, he feels like such a green flag. He's such a chill, small dude. And you're like, yeah, he's just the comic relief. But even it interrogates him as well. That's like, what part does he have to play? And again, it's just that writing which feels like it knows what it's doing at the end.
No, and I think like with all the apologies and all the children and like the husband, but and with the resolution and ending of the film, it can feel kind of like neat little box ribbon on top. But I feel like that's needed. Like, don't end this film on a sad note. I swear to God, don't end this film on a sad note. It has to end happily because in queer Indian cinema, and again, I've said this about queer cinema in general as well, it's important to show the harsh realities of life for queer people, which this film kind of touches upon, right? But we also need happy stories.
Yes.
So, like, I like that this film took us through the motions of the harsh realities of like a very small insular society and family life, and then, landed up at a happy ending.
Yeah, and with the ending, I also did really enjoy how she has to take this lie detector test to prove she's not a lesbian, and she does it fully knowing that she is one, and her son knows that as well, and she takes it. And I really like the ending questions. Again, it's such a real good way of exploring how homophobia is like seen within like straight communities. Of like they keep asking her questions which make her sexuality sexualized in a very like simplified way of speaking.
It also highlights the sexism because the other woman who's Tejas's to-be fiance's mom, she's been like her husband Bob's blind following faith trusting person, and then to finally goes like, what stupid questions are you asking her? Have you ever kissed me? When was the last time you kissed me? When was the last time you were intimate with me? When was the last time you told me the truth? And so that I feel also reveals the double standards for
Yes.
like men versus women as well. So yeah, I think
I love how that end speech isn't just Punjabi.
yeah, it's in Punjabi. She has this awful American accent, which is so grating the whole time. And then she just switches into Punjabi, and I'm like, oh, thank God, wonderful.
I can
Fuck off.
understand this less, but it is much more authentic. It feels much more real. Yes, 100%.
Also, I just like to talk about some of the Gujaratiness of this film.
Yes, go.
It does a better job than previous films about Gujaratiness in the sense that it has like, a substantial amount of Gujarati songs that I grew up with, like the proper folk Garba songs.
Nice.
And some of the clothing is right, and the Gujarati that they speak is like actual proper Gujarati. My gripes with it are, I don't know what city this is in because there are clear instances of like Ahmedabad, which is the city I grew up in, and then some instances of not Ahmedabad or perhaps this thing. So I'm like, which is why I said we're in an ambiguous Gujarati city, first of all. Second of all, they make Madhuri Dixit wear the most gorgeous like saris. And some of them are like traditional Gujarati bandhani saris, it's the traditional textile of Gujarat. But she doesn't wear them in the Gujarati way. She wears them on her left shoulder, which is a sari, instead of her like left shoulder going back instead of right shoulder coming forward. And it would have been fine. I mean, I'm being nitpicky. But all the other Gujarati women are wearing it the correct way. Just she isn't. And I was like, I'm not understanding the sartorial choices here. And also, I don't understand why this couldn't have been a Gujarati film.
Fair.
Because
Yeah, I know what you mean.
We don't speak Hindi, or Hindi is notoriously bad. People who are fluent in Hindi wouldn't understand when we speak Hindi because of how bad it is, which is why I like the accent on some of the male characters, like Manohar, like Gajraj Rao's accent, and like his Muli, his like friend's accent and stuff.
I like the thing of, because I do this, of switching into Gujarati when you have something witty to say or when you need to make a very specific joke. Because it just hits different.
It's just like, why couldn't all of it have been in Gujarati? Like, I want to see more Gujarati language films about Gujaratiness that are about like, topics like these because, hello, we are here. Hello.
Also, you got your nitpicks out. I just want to add one last nitpick too. I don't think Kachan's leukemia plot goes anywhere. It is just unnecessarily there. It doesn't do anything to add to the story whatsoever. I genuinely do not know why that is there. It literally does nothing. It is just there.
I think she just had leukemia to tip Pallavi over the point of like, you know what? My lover's dying. I don't give a fuck about any of this.
Maybe it was that, and the lie detector test is much more of a central plot element, but also it feels so over the top that sometimes I just had a hard time kind of fully accepting it as real.
Oh, for
I just
sure.
wish
Like,
there was something else that they did with that. Like, I was just like, could we really have not come up with something else to make this work?
I just think it's really it's surreal. Like, if for like
Yeah.
a second, it takes you out of it, which you don't want in a film that talks about such serious topics. But I
Yeah.
guess they couldn't think of any modern ways to to make. It's basically like a trial by fire for the modern day. It's just to do it with a lie detector feels silly.
It feels silly. It feels like, is this not a common consensus that these things are kind of pseudoscientific? And last nitpick, which was the musical stings. They bothered me because they were just so constant and they were just, let me just take in a moment. Let the moment just give it some time. Stop adding musical stings and then immediately at a dramatic moment, stop following it up with comical music. What are you doing? The music, the
I have
sound mixing in this film, the sound is just weird.
I have a big gripe with the ending song because throughout, like I said, they used, like at certain cultural moments, they used proper Gujarati music, right? The ending moment, which is arguably the most important one, had a Hindi love song. And I was like, oh, please bring back the Gujarati music. I was having such a good time. So yeah, I do agree that the music, it definitely went seesaw. It was like either amazing or it was like, man, take this out.
Yeah, exactly. But again, overall, a roller coaster of a film, like in terms of like quality as well sometimes. But again, when the film is done, when the credits roll, you come out being like, I enjoyed that. And that was very poignant and heart touching, basically.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So those were our thoughts. Thank you for tuning into a more actual diverse episode that we do. Hopefully we're able to do more of these. But those were our thoughts. Thank you for tuning in. This podcast is produced solely by us. Musical assets from Pixabay. See you again next time.